right, Shalom. I want to start off as always by giving all praises and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Racha HaKodash. The one is unto the apostles, the elders, and the bishops of Great Millstone. I want to send much love unto the brothers out there doing his work in truth and sincerity. And I also want to send peace and blessings unto the believers of the hopeful elect. And in this morning's lesson, I wanted to do a response video unto this video here that was put up by Glenn Beck. And as you can see, the title of this video reads, Warning, the fusion of AI with human beings will put our souls at stake. And so in this video, they're going to say a few things about AI and merging of man with machine. They're going to talk about the mark of the beast and other topics. But this guy here to the right of Glenn Beck, he's going to make a statement, man, that when I first heard this video, I burst out laughing, okay? I burst out laughing because he referenced his forefather, okay? And when he said, you're going to know exactly who I'm talking about when I say his forefather. But anyway, I want to get into this topic here of transhumanism, you know, the push of AI, all this stuff that these devils have been talking about for a while now, for years, okay? And they finally have the technology, the power, the influence to now merge man with machine. And also, you know what? Salakia. I want to look up the Forbes magazine 2026. I think it's Forbes magazine. Is it Forbes or is it no, not Forbes, The Economist, right here, okay? This picture right here, man, so small. See if I can zoom in on it. No. Damn, I gotta get this picture, bro. Okay, I think I can get the. Yeah, here we go. So this is the picture of the Forbes. I mean, not Forbes. The Economist. Okay. As you can see here, they have a few things on this magazine, man, and it's a lot to uncover here in this picture. Okay, a whole lot. But you see Donald Trump here. You see Putin and Xi Jinping. Netanyahu. That's Putin right there. This Xi Jinping. You got drones. The drone right there, right? World in 2026. It's a drone, right? You got down here robot. See the robots, right? See the needle, okay, for the juice. Another robot. I guess this means economic war or economic collapse. I don't know. But you see how this joystick is hooked up to this brain here? What does that mean? This joystick hooked up to the brain. I don't know what that means. I got to go watch somebody break this down. But I remember seeing this. I was like, oh, my goodness. But next year will be America 250 year, okay, as a nation, right? And we know that most nations last about 250 years, most kingdoms, right? About 250 years. give or take, on average, right? But there's a lot going on in this picture, man. Okay, and Lord will I probably come back and just do like a response to somebody else's video who took time out to look at through this thing, man. But yeah, the Forbes, man. I mean, the Economist. Why the hell I keep saying Forbes? The Economist, right? The world ahead, 2026. Very interesting. But anyway, let me play this video here, man. I pray it's edifying.
I urge you to read something like Ray Kurzweil's Age of Spiritual Machines. You will understand that these people who do not believe in the soul or God or anything else have created something. And as Kurzweil has told me himself, you'll be able to soon merge with the machine. This was him 2010, maybe telling me this. You're going to be able to merge with the machine. And he said, because it will be moving too fast, you will have infinite knowledge, all of this stuff, that if you don't understand the sacredness of the soul, it sounds like a golden age. You will be able to access everything. And then he starts in with, and you won't have to carry a wallet because everything will be stored, and what you implant in you will become part of you, and you'll think differently, and you will be able to hive mind. And that's not being a human. And I said, Ray, what if you want to remain human? And he said, why would you? And I said, because, I kind of like the original model. And he told me, well, then you will have to be isolated because you'll be a problem for everybody else. So anybody said
Right. And that sound how the future will look. Okay. Those who merge with machine and put these devices in their bodies, get these so-called upgrades. The people who will not get the upgrades, so to speak, and tap into the transhumanism, they will be looked at as lesser than. Okay. They will be looked at as the old way, like something wrong with you for not participating and getting these upgrades and these devices put into your body to enhance your biology, so to speak, right? A lot of people will participate in this stuff, man. Okay. You would think that they'll say no to it and be like, well, no, yeah, that's too much. They're going to make it look cool, right? They're going to get your favorite celebrities to tap into it, right? LeBron and Taylor Swift, all these individuals, they're going to tap into these different transhumanist ways, right? Getting so-called upgrades and brain implants and chips and all this stuff. This world going to be crazy, bro. It's going to be crazy. And now you see why the Most High got fire prepared, because it's going to get out of hand. Okay? It's going to get out of hand. Just how it was during the time of Noah. That was doing too much, man. Now, the scriptures don't give, full detail on what they were doing, but they were being corrupt and wicked. Okay? That we do know according to the scriptures. They was corrupt and perverted life. And this is what these devils are trying to do with AI, transhumanism, robotics. They're going to corrupt life, human ingenuity, man. Human, nature. They're going to corrupt it all. As he said, Glenn Beck said, they're going to put these chips and devices in you, and you're going to think differently, move differently. This is madness. And this is why the scripture says what it says. Here we go.
Everybody's going to want to do this. And I think a lot of people will want to do this. But I come back to where you're driving, that, when you read about taking the mark of the beast, there is no salvation for you. Once you take it, it's over. You can't untake it. You can't be redeemed at all.
And he's correct. Why is it that some of you Israelites can understand that? That according to the scriptures, if you take the mark of the beast, okay, there is no redemption. There is no salvation. There is no, I'm going to take it out. That would be a conscious decision. Okay? If you take the mark of the beast, you will be judged by Yahweh Shai. Okay? Point blank, period. This is something that all Israelites who are in the faith should understand and should know. And should teach that, hey, don't take the mark of the beast, man. Don't let these devils chip you, no matter what he's threatening in your life, so to speak. No matter what he's so-called, peer pressuring you with. To hell with this devil, man. To hell with this devil, bro. Okay? Here we go.
It's the same with this. Once you become transhuman, you can't undo that. And right. You've lost your right to salvation. And so you cannot be saved. That starts to make that scripture in Revelation work. That's precisely right. All of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, yes, because you're not human.
And many more. You can't buy and sell anymore.
This year, celebrate Christmas that's all about family and freedom and American values. Give a gift from American Giant. Clothing. And I thought that was you. besthoodie.com/clan.
So right now, you could probably maybe run a business without a cell phone, without access to the internet, let's say, but it would be really, really hard, right? So that technology that we have in our hands, that our cell phones, the technology we hold in our hands is going into our brains very soon. It is going into the cerebral cortex. And rather than surfing the internet with our thumbs, we're going to be surfing the internet with this accomplice, artificial intelligence, through the speed of thought. We will be interacting with a compendium of human knowledge at the speed of thought. As soon as this technology, as soon as we merge with the machines and also with artificial intelligence. So how are you, if you just want to be an old-fashioned, homegrown, organic human being who's going to try and compete in that environment? Think about young people going to university and they decide, you know what, I don't want to upgrade. I don't want the upgrades. I don't want the enhancements. I don't want to put the technology into my biology. I don't want the chip in my cerebral cortex. How is that person going to compete with all of the transhuman students who are accessing the compendium of human information at the speed of thought?
It would be as if you are walking into a room and there's one person there that has an IQ of 20.
Precisely right.
It can't function. I can't have a conversation with you. I can't do anything.
That's right.
Because you have an IQ of 20. And that was Ray's point. Nobody wants that. Everybody wants it. And the way it's described and what you're seeing on the horizon, it is going to be described as a golden age.
It is. And you know what's happening here is we're going full circle back to the beginning, because our story begins in the Garden of Eden. And the temptation of the serpent was, if you eat of this fruit, surely you will not die. You will become like the gods. You will become like the gods. So it's the same temptation. And what's happening here is we are succumbing to a Faustian bargain. We are.
Right. That's a beautiful point. And the apostles and brothers have made this point as well. It's going to be like the temptation, man. You're going to be like gods. This is what, what's his name? Sam Altman said. That nigga said, we're going to become gods. Become super powered. Know everything. Do everything. Be unstoppable. That's what he said. Elon Musk, all of them said the same thing, bro. So they're really planning on so-called merging man with machine and becoming gods and knowing everything and doing everything and, to travel to other galaxies out of space. This is what Sam Altman said. They want to travel to other galaxies and whatnot, right? Madness. Okay? Madness. But this is what these devils got in mind. Okay? This is what they got in mind. Boy, this is very interesting, bro. Here we go.
Are about to sell our birthright for a bowl of stew. For the advanced.
Right, that's a point that had me laughing right there. Right? He said we're about to sell our birthright for a bowl of stew. Who did that? Esau. Their forefather, right? Hey, they don't know that they're Edomites, okay? Glenn Beck them, they don't know, they don't understand that, okay? but they are Edomites, okay? And he's quoting his forefather Esau, who was a sellout, okay? Who sold his birthright, the kingdom of heaven, for a bowl of stew. Here we go.
And the advantages of post-humanism, of transhumanism, the enhancements, we are going to give away the most precious thing that we have, which is our humanity. And that's why, and you can see the slow march, you can see the cunning of the serpent, how the ground has been laid for this eventuality, that the human being has been degraded. It started with Darwin, and then it progressed from there. The gradual erosion of human worth, and not worth as an individual, but worth as a species. If you're just a product of evolution, if you're just the cousin of a monkey, then there are no guardrails. There are no guardrails. Yeah. Who cares? It doesn't mean anything to be a human being, and there's no reason whatsoever to preserve our humanity. This is where the gospel of Christ is so important, especially for Christians to anchor themselves in the gospel of Christ. Because as I said, Jesus is a kinsman redeemer who became a man to redeem mankind. And so I'm stressing whenever I get the opportunity to talk to young people that you need to understand the worth of your humanity.
No, he's a kinsman redeemer to the Israelites. Okay? Not to humanity and mankind. No, that's not scripture. He's a kinsman redeemer to the Israelites. And this is a debate going on right now in Israel amongst, the community. Right? Talking about all nations can be saved. No, that's not scripture. Real quick. Matthew 1:21. Real quick. These people are staking, man. And they're going to be hurt. They're going to be hurt when Yahushua come back. Not knowing what he's truly about, who he's truly for. Matthew 1:21. And she shall bring forth the son, and thou shalt call his name Yahushua, for he shall save his people from their sins. Kinsman redeemer. His people. Okay? Now compare that with John 3:16. Is the Bible contradicting itself? No, it's not, man. The word world is cosmos, which is going into the world of Israel. His people. Okay? Here we go.
Your humanity, the worth of your humanity. And don't be beguiled into exchanging it, into selling your birthright for a bowl of stew, for life extension, and for all of the extraordinary capabilities that are going to become available. We are living right now in what technologists and futurists call the hybrid age. And the reason why they describe this as the hybrid age is because in the past, you have various streams of technology that were being independently developed. These are the famous GRIN technologies, for example. You had genetics, robotics, artificial intelligence, and nanotechnology. Those are the four big ones. And they're being developed, each one of them as a separate stream. But today, in our time, these streams are coalescing. They're coming together. And so you now have, for example, you can take artificial intelligence. You could take artificial intelligence and insert it into a Tesla robot. And now you have an autonomous robotic being, which in the future is going to be, by the way, policing our streets, fighting our wars. This goes for genetics, for nanotechnology. We haven't even yet entered into the genetic revolution. That's coming. By the way, there's a book. I don't know if you've read the book. Trying to remember the name of the woman who wrote the book. It's called Countdown, and she predicts in the book that the sperm count of males in the West is going to 0 by 2045. In other words, we're reaching the end of our genetic rope, and lo and behold, what are we developing right now? Artificial wombs. And we are perfecting in vitro fertilization. We're reaching the end of our genetic rope, and the only way that the human species is going to be able to continue to breed, to populate, is through artificial wombs in the future. We're already, the constructs, the framework of this post-human, again, apocalypse, not utopia, apocalypse, is being constructed right in front of our eyes.
Is there a line that you have in your mind? Is there I'll do this, but I won't do that. I mean, that's the scary part of this. Is it's such a slippery slope. It's such a blurry line at the beginning that you don't exactly know. It'll be easier to spot in 10 years, 15 years. Right now, today, in the next 5 years, it's going to be really slippery and hard.
Yes, it will, especially for our kids and our grandkids.
Right.
So, yeah, I have some guardrails. So, you have to talk about each one of these technologies separately, which we don't have time for. But let's talk about genetic technology. So right now, we have very effective genetic technologies that we're developing and improving. For example, we have gene therapy. Gene therapy is if I have a gene that's mutated and it's causing cancer, it's causing some other genetic disorder, you can take that same gene from another human genome, and that's the key, from another human genome that has the correct code that's not mutated, and you can take it and splice it into my genome and correct the code, right? That's human to human genetic modification. I've got no problem with that because it's human to human. We're not altering the genetic matrix of the human species that God designed. But once we start going beyond that, once we start doing one of two things, creating new sequences or integrating sequences from other kinds of creatures, then we're crossing that species barrier. We are now entering into cross-species genetics, which, by the way, is explicitly prohibited in the Bible. So cross-species genetics, this is one of the great sins of the Watchers, by the way. They engaged in miscegenation, the mixing of species.
All right, now you're going to Book of Enoch. Look, man, the point being is that these devils are coming. Life as we know it is about to change drastically, man. And for you brothers and sisters out there who are in the faith, you have to prepare your mind for all things, man. And that's probably abandoning your loved ones, possibly being homeless. Who knows, man? But the Most High in the end gonna take care of his people, bro. All right? I'm gonna end with this precept here. Purdue is edifying. Ezekiel 33 and 33. And when this cometh to pass, Lord will come. Then shall they know that a prophet had been among them. Look, man, we've been warning about the MOTB for the longest. And the closer we get to the end, the more this stuff started to manifest. You started to see that, hey, man, this is very weird. This is very strange. The Lord forewarned about this stuff, bro. 2026 should be a very interesting year. As I showed on that Economist magazine. Very interesting, man. But it should be very interesting, very, very interesting. So I pray it was edifying. I'm going to get up out of here, man. I'll praise you. How about you, Shalom.